Simple Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Great to be along with you. Sports on a Sunday morning here until noon. We do it every Sunday unless there's a game, and that's not very often, Drew. I mean, there have been a couple of times where we have a very, very early Cardinals game that might happen once a year. The Cardinals are out. We are watching the playoffs. We are following football and hockey and even some college basketball. Coming on the show here at 10:30 will be Travis Ford. We have so much happening. John Mozeliak is going to be on the show today. Lutz is on the show today. Tom Stillman, the chairman and governor of the St. Louis Blues, is on the show today. That's like an executive hour. Lutz, Mo, and Tom Stillman. Back to back to back. That's pretty good. And in the 10 o'clock hour, as I mentioned, we're going to cover a lot of sports here. I do find myself enjoying the playoffs more than I did last year, probably because the Cardinals have been out of this since July or August 1st officially when the trade deadline hit. We knew that it was going to be we knew that before that, though. And I think last year when the Phillies beat the Cardinals in back-to-back games and it was so abrupt, I will admit that I did not watch the playoffs as much as I had normally watched. It actually hurt to watch some of these teams move forward. Now I'm in complete, open, happy observation mode. I'm not happy with how the Cardinal season ended. Don't get me wrong. There was more acceptance, and I'm watching very closely to see how the Cardinals will get back into this because I do feel like it is very important for them to get aggressive and to recapture some of the excitement of years past. It is going to be very difficult to do, though. You can't just snap your fingers and fill 3 spots in the rotation. I mean, it is going to take money. It's going to take an uncomfortable trade. It's going to take change, and there will be change in this organization. I'm not sure to what extent we will try to get a little bit from John Mozeliak on that. Keep in mind now, when we talk to Mo at 11:30, I mean, he's not in a position to talk about free agents. We have not hit that period yet, nor would he anyway. But he will give us an idea of where he is right now, what he is thinking. Also, a very serious incident happened in the Cardinals organization late last week with the armed robbery of prospects, coaches, staff at their academy in the Dominican Republic. So we'll see if we can get an update from him on that. Very sorry that happened. But we will talk about that and more. It is going to take a lot for the Cardinals to move forward, but it is a big moment for them. I am encouraged by what I saw from the St. Louis Blues the first 2 games. I think that's been very nice. We'll talk to Tom Stillman about their philosophy and what they're looking like moving forward. But what a nice win for the Blues last night. Really good win. And Jordan Binnington is the face of the franchise. And whether you believe he's a good goaltender or not, the season really rides on whether Binnington is good or not. And so far in the first 2 games, he's been exceptional, I think. And the Blues actually look like a tougher, more defensive-minded hockey team. I mean, they are not allowing easy chances. He's facing a lot of shots, but it's not like they have just open space in front of the net. They're not leaving Benner out to dry. The Blues have not allowed – they've allowed fewer than 2 goals, 2 or fewer, in their first 2 games back-to-back. Less than 2 goals in 2 games back-to-back. You know how many times they did that last year? None. 0 last year. So this is encouraging. This is good. I don't know how good they're going to be, but the 2 games that I've seen so far, I like. Now, of course, you want to see more offense, but that's a good Dallas team that they were able to get a point out of in that first game, and then they beat Seattle in their home opener. You want to see them win the home opener, and they did do that. So congratulations to the Blues on that. Nice win for them. Jordan Kyrou with a good goal. Robert Thomas, their other big star, gets the goal in the shootout. Binnington stops 28 shots. He stops 2 in overtime. He stops all 3 in the shootout. Man, it was like a script that was meant to be. Their 3 big stars get the headlines, and the Blues get the win in front of a boisterous crowd at Enterprise Center. That's what you want. So the Blue, we'll hear a little bit more on our Blues breakdown when we go into the locker room. We'll hear from some of the players and Coach Craig Berube, but they're off to a nice start. I know that at this time last week, I was critical of Missouri and how they finished against LSU. It was disappointing. as good as Jaden Daniels is, and he is phenomenal. I mean, there are only a few quarterbacks in the country as good as he is. One of them is the former Indiana quarterback, Mike Penix, up at Washington. He is outstanding. And Jaden Daniels yesterday put on another show for LSU. It's just another reason why Missouri lost that game. He is a just outstanding player. Daniels accounted for 418 yards, threw for 3 touchdowns as LSU just crushed Auburn at home. LSU is a very good team. 48-18, they beat Auburn. Missouri lost the game 49-39. I was still disappointed, though. It just left a bad taste. Like, when is this Missouri team ever going to finish a game? When are they going to come through in an SEC game? When are they going to take the next step as a program and reestablish that they can be a player? Remember, they were number 1 in the country for a brief period, but it was a long time ago. 2007. Drew was a young lad back then. That was just for a moment until Oklahoma smacked them around in the Big 12 championship game, and that was the end of that. But for a moment there, when they beat Kansas at Arrowhead Stadium, they were the number 1 team in the nation. And then they were in the Big 12 championship, and they went to the SEC, and everybody said, oh, it's going to take a long time. Gary Pinkel got them into the SEC championship game twice. And they were thought to be one of the teams that every year would pop up in the middle or towards the upper half of the top 25 and be a player and win 9 games. That fell off. And now they are starting to show some signs that they are the real deal. They went to Kentucky, a team that was wounded, a team that got destroyed by Georgia, a team that wanted to show its fans that they're back, that they're strong, and Missouri took it to them. And they fell behind 14-0, but the Steve Spurrier-like Eli Drinkwitz, who wears the visor and talks the big game and is able to spar with media, he has a good time with it, and it says a lot of funny things, and I think he's a good recruiter, has this swagger about him. He calls the fake punt. It works. They score a touchdown, change the entire game. And this is the Missouri that you want to see. Then they back it up. They play strong defense. They throw the ball efficiently with Brady Cook and his receivers. Thank goodness Luther Burden didn't get hurt. He was down for a little bit and then was able to pop back up. They have a good receiving core. Theo Weiss is excellent. Transfer from Oklahoma. Mookie Cooper makes big plays along the sideline as well. He's strong. Cody Schrader, strong runner, persistent, stuck with it, scored a big touchdown late. Offensive line hung in there, didn't make as many mistakes. Tigers won the game. That is hard to do. Go down 14-0 on the road in the SEC. I don't care who you're playing. And Kentucky's pretty good. And they went to Kentucky and they won the game 38-21. That is a solid win for the University of Missouri. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And I don't know that anybody would. But a 38-21 win, that is a very good win for Mizzou. Now, they have to show it again, and they're going to play South Carolina, a team that did play Florida to the end, ended up losing that game. South Carolina won't be a pushover necessarily. This is the SEC, but that's a winnable game for Missouri. They could go 7-1. And now you just go into the Georgia game on the road, just have fun with it. And then you got Tennessee, Florida, at Arkansas. It's possible that Missouri could reestablish itself. And, you don't want to fall apart here. You want to be strong, and the win at Kentucky is a huge win for them. If they lose back-to-back games, all kinds of questions start to come up, both internally and externally, I think. But this is a different feel. Nice win for Illinois as well. Illinois goes to Maryland and wins. That's a strong win for Brett Bielema because I felt like it was starting to fall apart for him. I started to hear all the doubters. This isn't the guy. He can't recruit, blah, blah, blah. I do think that Illinois still has an uphill climb, but even though they have different records, I see the programs similarly. I think they're not powers in their own conferences. I think they struggle sometimes to recruit the elite players. Missouri was able to get Burden. That's huge. But they've got to be able to establish some continuity. And Illinois, with a very, very good win for them, hopefully for them can propel them and get them some momentum as well, because they've had some really disappointing, much more disappointing games than Missouri has. But they had they couldn't get any traction. And that's a nice win for them at Maryland. They actually were up by 10 almost let it get away. Maryland tied it late, and then Luke Altmaier took them on a drive and won the game. They kicked a field goal, won the ball game at Maryland. Good Big Ten win. Same thing. Hard to win in the Big Ten on the road, especially against a team like Maryland, who has a very good quarterback in Tagovailoa, and they got the job done. Credit to the University of Illinois. Those are 3 good wins for this area. Blues, Mizzou, Illinois. Very, very good. Now, let's see what we have in store for the rest of this show. We've got some really good stuff. We're going to take a break, come back, and rip through the top 25 because we have fans, quite honestly, of college football all over the map. I know Mizzou and Illinois dominate, but we've got some very interesting things going on in the top 25. We also have the playoffs happening. The ALCS is tonight. The Astros and the Rangers in Houston. NASCAR facing a big day today in Las Vegas. Travis Ford at 10:30. Blues breakdown and a very nice, heartwarming story about a lot of money raised in St. Louis for a charity. That's wrapping up our 10 o'clock hour. Then in the 11 o'clock hour, NFL picks. I've been good, Drew. I've been pretty good. We'll see if I can pick him again. That's at 11:05. Lutz Fantasy, 11:15. John Mozeliak, 11:30. Tom Stillman, 11:45. We're loaded with guests. We're loaded with content. We're back after this.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to experience something paranormal, supernatural, or unexplainable? Join host Jack Wagner on the podcast Otherworld as he explores spine-chilling real stories shared by everyday people who have experienced something unexplainable. Listen each week for first-person testimony from people who have come face-to-face with something that can't just be explained away. Listen and follow Otherworld at Odyssey Podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I don't know how to ask.
They know what sounds are funny.
Or what smells are funky.
That's right. No one knows their furnace like they do. So go ahead, ask.
Okay. Is your furnace funky?
If it is, then make but one call.
And Jerry Kelly will be there the very next day.
Call anytime, 8 to 8, 8 days a week.
And Jerry Kelly will fix your furnace or install a new one the very next day.
JerryKelly.com. At Diamonds Direct, nobody tells our story better than our own associates.
I hear from customers that come in how shocked they are. They're able to, only with Diamonds Direct, afford a diamond that they never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be able to get.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
We have exponentially more to choose from. The resources that we have away from our wholesale roots, really untouchable.
When you come here to Diamonds Direct, you know it's something special. You know it's something that is one of a kind, and you got that at such a phenomenal value.
To be a jeweler and have this kind of firepower, we have all these mountings, all this selection, all these diamonds, and incredible prices is just unmatched.
And I think our customers appreciate that we are so open and honest about every part of this process.
What they're surprised by is the extent that we go to provide an unparalleled, luxurious shopping experience.
This company has a 60-year heritage in diamond cutting, diamond mining, diamond wholesaling. So there's no possible way to get any closer to the source than with Diamonds Direct.
We won't be undersold.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Nobody wants a surprise in their jelly donut. It's toothpaste? That's because the middle is the most important part. At Graybar, we're at the middle of electrical and datacom jobs across the country, connecting installers, facility managers, and business owners with smart solutions for their most challenging projects, which means stocking and delivering crucial products on time and on budget, with no surprises, thanks to our nationwide logistics network. Yep, Graybar does that.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
1021 Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. I am Tom Ackerman. Great to be with you. It is the postseason continuing tonight with the Astros hosting the Rangers. I picked Texas to play the Braves in the World Series and the Braves to win the World Series, so I was wrong about that. Phillies flex their muscle, and they will play tomorrow against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I would not discount the Diamondbacks in that series whatsoever. I think we have seen they are young. They're a lot of fun. But this is a different animal now. I think the Phillies are destined to win this thing. They just have this swagger about them. They've got a great home field advantage. They've got really good pitching. One of them, I'm sure Cardinals fans are keeping an eye on in Aaron Nola. This Phillies team is legit. They're going to play tomorrow night, and they're going to throw Zach Wheeler, I understand, although the MLB app does not have a starter listed for the Phillies. So I find that interesting. I thought it was going to be Wheeler against Gallen, but for some reason on their preview, they don't have one. Gallen is, I don't want to harp on this, but we do have a lot of former Cardinals out there right now. Zach Gallen is somebody who made it as far as AAA with the team. Then he was traded in the Marcell Ozuna deal. The Phillies and the Diamondbacks 7:07. This is in Philadelphia tomorrow night. Tonight's game is going to be the Rangers and the Astros. Then they'll play game 2 tomorrow afternoon. The starter for the Rangers is former Cardinal Jordan Montgomery. He was obviously dealt at the deadline for good reason. He was going to be a free agent at the end of the year. The Cardinals wanted to get something for him. Justin Verlander will make the start on the other side for the Astros. He always seems to pop up this time of year. It'll be Rangers and Astros at 7:15 tonight. I still like the Rangers in this series. I think the Rangers spent a ton of money. And while I know the narrative right now is that the Braves and the Dodgers are out, so you don't have to be a 100-win team to win the World Series, but you can spend a lot of money. And the Texas Rangers showed that. They gave a whopper of a contract to Corey Seager. Then they turned around, gave a whopper of a contract to Marcus Semien. The middle of their infield is very expensive and very, very good. They also have a good, experienced staff. They're going to get St. Louis and Max Scherzer joining that staff. The Rangers are going to be tough to beat, in my estimation. In fact, they haven't lost a game yet. So I like the Rangers to win this series over the world champion Astros. And on the other side, Phillies over the Diamondbacks. And I think the Phillies do win this thing. I just got, that's my gut now. But I do have the Rangers going to the series. That is tonight. College football yesterday. The number 1 team in the nation is Georgia. They got challenged a little bit. Brock Bowers got hurt in this game, the tight end. He's a superstar. Georgia wins it 37-20. We'll see how Bowers is coming out of this weekend when Georgia talks about it a little bit more. They established themselves as number 1 last week, crushing Kentucky at home. They come back and win at Vanderbilt 37-20. Commodores made it interesting, actually outscored them in the fourth quarter 13-10, but Georgia had already built a big lead at that point, and they won the ball game 37-20. Number 2, Michigan. Oh, boy, my Indiana Hoosiers went in there, a little trick play, took a 7-0 lead into the second quarter, and then got absolutely dominated. Michigan wins it 52-7. They have playmakers all over the field, one of the best defenses in the country. They are unbeaten. They are about to get challenged big time, but so far so good for Michigan. They're 7-0 on the season, 4-0 in the Big Ten. Eventually, they will have to face Ohio State. Ohio State's also unbeaten. They're 6-0. They whipped Purdue 41-7 on the road. Easy win for them. Number 4 is Florida State. I also think they are a contender for the national championship. Very impressive wins for them this year. They won against LSU. They won at Clemson. And now they have won against Syracuse 41-3. They picked up the win yesterday. Easy win for them. They are 6-0 and 4-0 in the ACC. The 5th-ranked team in the country, Oklahoma, had the weekend off after their wonderful victory over Texas last weekend. So we'll see if they move at all. I wouldn't anticipate that they will. I think it should remain the way it is. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Oklahoma 1-5. Penn State beat UMass 63-0, but that's not a contest for them whatsoever. Will be next week. Will be next week when they go to Ohio State and take on the Buckeyes. Then we'll see what they're made of. That's an 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. That should be a lot of fun. Watch out for Washington now. They won 36-33. Very good Oregon team that they beat yesterday. I know they did it at home, but Oregon is legit, and it was a missed field goal that ended up finishing this game. Washington wins 36-33 in a great, great game between two teams that had to have it. Very good Pac-12 matchup. And, oh, by the way, both of those teams are going to be in the Big Ten moving forward. Notre Dame embarrassed USC 48-20. Caleb Williams, I think it's safe to say that Archie Griffin's back-to-back Heismans are not in jeopardy. Williams was picked off 3 times in this game, and Notre Dame wins 48-20 at home against USC. Great win for the Irish, who had lost a couple of games. They might be out of the college football playoff picture, but that's a solid win against a rival for them, and it's very hurtful to USC, who a lot of people had questions about with their defense, and now even more. The Lincoln Riley, who I thought when he abruptly left Oklahoma did not handle it well. He also does not recruit defense very well because they don't look good defensively whatsoever. And Williams is scrambling, trying to make something happen. It's an okay USC team, and not a power necessarily. I just don't. I expected more out of them, and they don't look good defensively whatsoever. I still say, pay attention to Alabama, and you may dismiss them again because they only beat Arkansas 24-21, and Arkansas isn't all that great. But Bama did not play great, and they still find ways to win ball games. And I feel like we're all getting set up here by Nick Saban. Like, his team is a work in progress. The win at Texas A&M did not fire on all cylinders and still won a game in a tough environment, 26-20. They gut one out against Arkansas, 24-21. They're going to get Tennessee in their house next week. And we'll see what they're all about, because the last time they had a big game at home, they failed it against Texas. Ole Miss is a big game at home, but they should have handled Ole Miss. This is a big game against Tennessee here on Saturday. Then they'll get LSU at home after a bye. So we're going to learn a lot about Alabama. I think there's a chance that Alabama doesn't lose another game. Tennessee, LSU at home, at Kentucky, Chattanooga at home, at Auburn. And Alabama might not lose again until the SEC championship. I'm not saying they're the best team in the country. I'm saying they're going to sneak up on everybody, and everyone at the end of the year is going to say, are you kidding me? Alabama's right back in this thing again. Some teams that got bounced: Louisville, big fail at Pittsburgh. Louisville was undefeated, started to make the climb, not quite there yet. Pitt handed a 38-21 defeat to them. Miami, after their brutal loss at home against Georgia Tech and a terrible decision to run instead of running out the clock, they get beaten by North Carolina in a good football game, 41-31. Oregon State beat UCLA 36-24. Utah 34-14 over Cal. Duke held NC State to a field goal, 24-3. A pretty good team, Duke. Tennessee beat Texas A&M 20-13. Arizona hammered Washington State 44-6. 19th ranked team in the country loses at home. Oklahoma State 39-32 over Kansas. We talked about Mizzou and Illinois last segment. When we come back, we're going to talk about SLU. Head coach Travis Ford of the Billikens is next.
Kingdom OX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Wouldn't your kids love to take a trip to the North Pole to see Santa? Goodwill and the St. Louis Union Station have partnered to give you a chance to win a magical holiday staycation for 4 that includes all the fun at St. Louis Union Station, plus a first-class ride on the Polar Express. Drop off a donation of clothing or other items to your local Goodwill and get a secret entry code, plus 20% off St. Louis Union Station attractions. For more information about this magical staycation, visit mersgoodwill.org.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from. All that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Will Smith swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
10:31 on the home of the Cardinals, the Chiefs, St. Louis City SC, and the Billikens. It is coming soon. The St. Louis University Billikens, men and women, will be right here on KMOX. Basketball for the foreseeable future. You know, that makes us happy over here. Certainly makes me happy. And this guy, Travis Ford, head coach of the St. Louis University Billikens, joins us on KMOX. Coach, how are you?
Doing good, Tom. Doing good. Great to start another year with you. It's right around the corner, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
Very exciting.
It is exciting. You know, I was looking at this. I was thinking about this. I believe you have been at St. Louis University as long as you were at Oklahoma State as a coach. I'm pretty sure you're tied for your longest run as a head basketball coach in your career. And you've spent a great deal of time here. I can remember the first time that we chatted when you got the job. That was at the Final Four in Houston. Hard to believe that was almost 8 years ago.
It really is. It really is. It's time flies. But you're exactly right. I was at Oklahoma State 8 years and heading into season 8 here. And it's flown by, especially with all the COVID years, the couple, 2-3 years that we went through there where kind of the seasons were interrupted and different things like that. So it's going by very quickly.
I had such a good time exploring the O'Loughlin Family Champions Center on Monday. What a facility that is. I know you've been along with the plans for a long time, but I had not set foot in there until Monday. That is very impressive.
It is. It's a very, very special place. We just are so thankful for all the donors and the O'Loughlin family for all the support that they've given the university, to the athletic department. And it's a difference maker, no question about it. It's exceeded expectations. It's absolutely beautiful and obviously very functionable. It's going to, benefit all the student athletes, and that's something we desperately needed.
You do have a nice office, I'll say. I popped into your office. Yeah. You got a nice.
Not too bad. Not a bad view.
Yeah, got an arch view.
The arch and downtown, and I'm on the west side of the building, so it's or the east side, and it is a beautiful view without a doubt.
Yeah, I love that hallway overlooking the Majerus practice facility there. I love the fact that everything's just interconnected, and it kind of makes me think how things were before. It really opens up to all programs a place where academics are a priority. That's also something that I felt. I thought that Joe Conrad said it best in that opening presentation, that this is not a training facility. And it's not a weight room. Like, you think about athletic facilities, you think about all the weight training and all that. It is not that. It is a place for student athletes to flourish.
No question. It is a very practical building. And, one of our key core value is building community. And that's what it does amongst all the student athletes, as well as obviously enhances their everyday life. From, as you mentioned, it's an incredible dining hall, something we did not have before, where all the student athletes can congregate, spend time together, eat, things like that. We didn't necessarily have an academic center where everybody was in there with different rooms, study rooms, tutor rooms, things like that. So it's definitely a facility that's going to bring everybody together and improve everybody's life daily. And as I said, it's going to be a difference maker for sure.
How are things going in practice thus far as you get closer to the start of the schedule?
Well, probably as you would think, when you have 8 new players, 5 freshmen, the attitudes are great. The energy is incredible. They work extremely hard. But when you're trying to teach 8 new players new offenses, defenses, those challenges. It's going well, but it's going slow, as you would expect. And then also we brought in 4 international players, and that whole process is a little bit different as far as introducing them to the college game and things like that. But really like this team as far as, like I said, their attitude, work ethic. I think they'll be exciting to watch. But it's a work in progress right now for sure.
The international influence, you have Serbia, France, Netherlands, and China. And I do want to focus on Bruce Zhang because you have some size there at 7 feet, 265. What kind of a player is he?
Well, he's very skilled for his size, very skilled, has a great understanding of the game, really, really good feel for the game as far as understands passing, understands screening. He's got good right hand, left hand jump hooks around the rim, moves extremely well for his size. Right now, the biggest challenge for him, 2 things, is obviously the injury bugs hit him. He's out 4 weeks right now from us right now. And hopefully we get him back, hopefully probably 2nd, 3rd week of November, maybe. We'll see. But also just learning how physical the game is at this level. That's a big adjustment for him, but very, very skilled for his size. And, I think he's going to be very, very good as time goes along.
Before we get to your array of guards, and you have some shooters, I don't think there's any doubt about that. What else do you like about your post presence as a team right now?
Well, we have a lot of post players. They're all mostly very young. From Bruce Zhang, as you mentioned, the young man from Netherlands is 6'10", 6'11". He's just now coming back from a 3-month injury where he had to have surgery and it's just now starting to come back. So we've been banged up in that area a little bit. Then we have, the one veteran piece is Brad Ezawero, who, we're waiting on a waiver for him for a second-time transfer. He's definitely a difference maker. He's been dominant in practice. And then we've been playing TJ Hargrove at some 5 spot a little bit inside and just giving us a different look offensively that we really, really like. So we've got some bodies. We just got to get everybody healthy and, probably have more depth or bodies in that position than we've ever had while I've been here. But we just got a few injuries and got to get some waivers.
You got to find a way to get the ball to Gibson Jimerson, of course, but you've got other shooters here. You mentioned Hargrove, who I think can do that and certainly has the ability to get to the basket. But boy, am I excited to see Parker. Parker in last year's performance showed some promise. I think there's much more to come.
Yeah, no question. I think the strength of this team right now would be probably Gibson Jimerson, TJ Hargrove, but also the guard play overall. When you talk about Sincere Parker, Larry Hughes, we brought the young man in from Serbia who's playing extremely well right now, and then a couple of point guards. But yeah, the guard play and being able to hopefully score the ball is going to be a strength, I think, of this team. And where you had guys that were kind of limited role players from a Sincere Parker to a Larry Hughes, who are going to step up and have much, much bigger roles for sure.
Larry Hughes is a familiar name to St. Louisans, and so is Kellen Thames, with his father, Kelly, as not only the coach at Pattonville, but also a star player at the University of Missouri. You know him well. Tell us about Kellen and what you're seeing in him.
Yeah, Kellen is really played well lately, and somebody who will definitely see playing time and be in the rotation for sure. Brings us great energy. He's about 6'7" now. He's grown a little bit over the summer, but great athletic ability, great energy, has the ability to, really score. Also can shoot threes. We had a little inter-squad scrimmage yesterday, made a couple of threes, but he brings a lot of energy and activity to our team, which we are really concentrating on in the forms of we want to press a lot. We want to play very, very up-tempo, and he really fits that.
What can you tell us about Chris Harriman joining your staff? It has been a decade since we've seen him when he was working here under Rick Majerus.
Yeah, Chris Harriman's doing a great job. Obviously brought him back to SLU. He was here under with Coach Majerus for 4 seasons, but brings a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. He's been associate head coach at Nebraska, New Mexico, Cal, at a lot of different levels of a lot of different places. So he brings a lot of different experiences that he can bring. Great recruiting, obviously has a great tie to international players, but also very good at recruiting over here. But I love his energy, brings a lot of energy to practice every day. And, he's in the office very, very early every morning and brings a great work ethic.
Travis Ford is with us. Just a couple of things left. We'll get into the A10 when we get a little bit closer to the start of the season, but you actually have a game coming here pretty soon. A week from Tuesday, you'll be opening exhibition play against Kentucky Wesleyan. Always nice to see you giving that program and programs like it an opportunity to play at Chaffetz Arena.
Yeah, it's all coming very, very quickly. I wish time could slow down a little bit, but it is. It seems like every year, Tom, it comes faster and faster, and we're playing games earlier and earlier. But, Kentucky Wesleyan, as we all know, if you follow college basketball, is a perennial elite D2 school that's won multiple national championships out of Kentucky. I kind of was raised around Kentucky Wesleyan. Owensboro was about 35 minutes from my hometown, and I kind of followed them. So excited for them to come in here. They're always going to have a good team. But anxious just to see what our team looks like as we start looking at rotations and we start looking at, areas we've got to improve on. So it's always good to play against different competition.
It'll be nice to get a peek at the Billikens, 7 o'clock, October 24th, Chaffetz Arena. It's that soon against Kentucky Wesleyan. We'll catch up soon, Coach. I appreciate these times very much. We'll keep this 10:30 open for you anytime you want it.
Always look forward to it and look forward to every Sunday being with you. It's here. Thanks, Tom.
Absolutely. Travis Ford, head coach of the Billikens. Great to chat with him. We'll take a quick break, come back with more. We'll go back to the Blues after this.
Selecting the right real estate agent to sell your home is the single most important factor when selling your home. This is Debbie Monterey. Imagine needing heart surgery. Would you choose a surgeon who performs hundreds of successful surgeries a year, or one with minimal experience and mediocre success rates? Selling your home is kind of like open heart surgery on your finances, and that's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Get to know Gloria because she'll give you multiple selling options when selling your home. For 20 years, Gloria's been helping home sellers just like you get the most money for their home. Experience, a proven track record, and guarantees matter when you're relying on an agent to get you the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Selling your home, there's just one call to make. That's 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. Gloria Liu at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
STL Today, the vote is in, and there's no need for a recount. I'm Jim Onder, and I want to thank you, the people of St. Louis, for acknowledging my team at Onder Law as STL Today's 2023's best law firm in St. Louis. As always, we will continue our mission to hold companies accountable, change the way they do business, and make St. Louis a safer place.
When you're injured, you need the best. Call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. It's always great to work with Spring Green, no matter the season. And this fall, aerating and overseeding your lawn is the best time to thicken up the yard. Take care of some of those trouble spots by reaching out to Spring Green, spring-green.com. Top dressing your lawn with compost is the single best thing you can do to your lawn every year. Shrub pruning, cutting back your perennials from the fall, installing a retaining wall can help with curb appeal as well. spring-green.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Join your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra as pianist Ingrid Fleeter returns and captivates in the passion and brilliance of Beethoven's Third Piano Concerto. Then, conductor Eileen Chan paints vivid landscapes with Elizabeth Ogonek's Moondog and Mendelssohn's Third Symphony. October 20th and 21st at the University of Missouri St. Louis's Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Blues chairman Tom Stillman 1 hour from now on KMOX. For right now, here's Coach Craig Berube after a 2-1 shootout win over Seattle and an update on Pavel Buchnevich last night.
Upper body right now. I don't know what significance of it is right now, so yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, and the power play was it right behind the net.
Did you see the cross check?
Well, it was hard from my angle, but I'll watch it on tape and see what it looks like.
I know you don't go into details ever, but can we rule out the head, or is that same upper body? Sometimes you rule out concussion.
Yeah, rule out the head.
Which thing I saw if we put up in that line.
He was good. I mean, he's played with those guys before, and they've been pretty successful. So, he drives hard with the puck and gets it down low and, recovers it, and he's heavy on it and goes to the net. So, thought they were good together.
You noticed the more conscious effort of the forwards on that back check. Seattle had a number of times.
Yeah, like I told you guys this morning, that's a quick transition team. We got caught in the second a few times. We're sleeping a little bit, but we recovered in the third. I thought our third was the best period.
The goal that said Kyrou, it looked like it was a back. He was able to back check and make it turn over, go back.
He tracked hard in the game, Jordan. He was skating tonight, and Thomas was skating hard tonight. They were good. It's a defense to offense situation. So we'll keep preaching that and keep trying to tighten it up and play good defense. We got to find a way to score a few more goals. I thought that the first period we had some good looks. We missed the net. We're just not clean right now with our shooting and things like that. So, power play included, right? So we got to, work on that and try to tighten that up a little bit and get a little bit more cleaner with things with the puck.
As opposed to turning pucks over, which can lead to a lot of odd mans going the other way. Is it just those missed shots that were
they were a little bit like we just got caught in a second where we funneled the puck to the net and there was, it kicked out and our D was up in a play and our fourth guy, which our forward was in a hole, but he wasn't conscious of it enough and didn't get back quick enough. And they blow the zone real quick and we got trapped a couple times. Even our D not pulling inside the dots, protecting the middle of the ice. But I thought they were way better in the third.
Welcome back to KMOX. Tom Ackerman with you, along with someone who used to deliver mail around these parts in downtown St. Louis. Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes. Remember those days?
I do indeed, Tom. And I got to tell you, since I left the post office, the price of the stamps have gone up. I don't know what it is. My dad was a mailman. My sister was a mailman. We have mailman blood in us. And thanks for having me on the show again.
Always good to have you. Now you're delivering homes to people in the St. Louis area. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about something that we did last Friday, which was raise a whole bunch of money for the Gervais Syndrome Foundation. That was some party.
It was amazing, Tom. I can't thank you enough. what an expert MC you are. I'm happy to report we raised over $520,000 to help find a cure for the Dravet Syndrome Foundation. My grandniece, my sister Pat's little granddaughter Anna, who you've met, is 6 years old. I wish I had better news on her condition, but it seems to getting more challenging every day. And so the whole Brennan Odlog family is working hard to raise enough funds. It's all about getting research dollars to find a cure for this terrible disease. And St. Louisans really stepped up. Last year we raised $468,000, and this year we had a good 50,000 plus increase. So St. Louisans are just so generous. And I'm just so amazed with all our friends in the home building industry that have come to support this cause. And Tom, you just do a great job with all the oral auction and the bid for the cure. And we're just so satisfied with the results and looking forward to next year. We do have a date for the 6th annual Dance for Dravet. It's going to be October 25th at the Third Degree Glass Factory again.
That's good. I mean, as long as the Cardinals aren't playing in the World Series.
We can only hope for that.
I'm good to go for October 25th, but it was a great night, and you actually raised more money for the Dravet Syndrome Foundation through the sale of homes, part of your effort here in the 125th year of McKelvey Homes, $1,898 for every home sold.
Yes, we're very proud of, and it really started with my father. He always said every time he gave anything, it came back to him in spades. And I really believe that when you help others, you get help. We wrote a check for $47,000 for the Dravet Syndrome Foundation, and I know that has inspired several of our friends to also dig deep and contribute. And we're getting ready for the fourth quarter now.
More money to another charity in quarter number 4. What is that?
Well, my wife, Rose, always says that people should have a house to live, they should have health care, and they should never be hungry. And there's so many good causes out there. And we have decided the best area for us to devote the fourth quarter contribution is the St. Vincent de Paul Society. We're in Christ Prince of Peace Parish, and our friends Tom and Mary Mueller every Thursday go to a food bank over at St. Anthony's. And Tom told me recently that they run out of food. And so St. Vincent de Paul dedicated his life to helping the poor. And whatever they need, whether it's housing, food, healthcare, and I'm amazed at the volunteers and the work they do. So we're proud to announce for every home that McKelvey sells between now and the end of the year, we will donate $1,898 to the St. Vincent de Paul Society to help those in need here in St. Louis.
Why do you think it is so important as a businessman in this area to give back to St. Louis?
It really is our responsibility. We've been blessed, and it's our duty to bless others and to pass that on. So we have more than what we need. And I tell you, Tom, there's Friday night when you look across that room, you and I were up at the front with my brother-in-law, Ted Odlog, and you look across that room and you see hardworking people that have worked so hard to get what they have, and they were so happy giving it away. Tens of thousands of dollars. Now, sometimes they got a suite at the Cardinal game or the Blues game or Indiana Pacers game, courtesy of Jack Donovan and Valley Sports. But I learned at an early age, it's more fun giving than getting. And you just cannot describe the satisfaction you have when you help others. We started the year with Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, followed it up with Independence Center for mental health, and now Dravet syndrome, and the fourth quarter here, St. Vincent de Paul. I'm sure there's many more other charities out there, and our company, we support many different causes. There's so many good causes that are out there, and we're in a position to help others. So I really strongly believe that that's our duty. Like you, why does Tom Ackerman spend all his extra time, if you have any, volunteering, doing all these events, Tom. We're just one of them, but you do countless events every year.
Because once you start doing it, you can't stop. And you do feel like with the platform that we have, you should be able to put that to good use. I feel like it's a wasted opportunity if I don't. And then once I start doing it, and like you, I see the reaction of people that you were able to make someone happy and you were able to do something that made you happy at the same time. Why wouldn't you keep doing that? So that's all part of it. I mean,
kind of addicting, isn't it?
It is. It's what St. Louis does. We're very generous. Best way for people to find out more about the charity that you were benefiting in quarter number 4?
Well, they have a website, which is svdpstlouis.org. St. Vincent de Paul. We'll get more information on that. You can go to our website. We'll have something on there very soon that will announce how we're contributing to St. Vincent de Paul. You can stop in any of the McKelvey home communities. And the best way to help St. Vincent de Paul is buy a house from us today, Tom.
That's Jim Brennan. McKelvey Homes, always selling. Good man. And always giving. And appreciate it very much.
You're right there with me, buddy. Thanks. Appreciate it.
We'll be back right after this on KMOX.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Earthquakes don't just happen in California. They can happen right here, anytime with no warning. The chance of a major Missouri earthquake in the next 50 years is as high as 40% and can cause billions of dollars in damage. Are you prepared? Most homeowners and renters policies don't cover earthquakes. Are you covered? Earthquake insurance can help protect you and your family, and it's more affordable than you think. Call your insurance agent or visit centralusquake.org. That's centralusquake.org. Remember, it's not if, it's when.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
News Radio KMOX, the home of the Cardinals.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Says here that Gray Bar is a distributor?
Yeah, we support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Gray Bar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Gray Bar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Gray Bar does that.
KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
Your home of the Chiefs. This is KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Peter King. The numbers are inevitably rising by the hour. Israel says the death toll there is more than 1,400. And on the 9th day of fighting, the first funerals have been held in Israel. The Gaza Health Ministry says more than 2,400 people have been killed on its side of the border. CBS's Ian Lee.
Palestinians are scrambling to leave Gaza. The United Nations says almost 1 million residents have been displaced since the war started, with many following Israel's warning to flee.
I just have to have the thought of me dying in a bomb in Gaza.
National Security spokesman Jake Sullivan on Face the Nation.
We are very focused, making sure that all American citizens in Gaza have safe passage out of Gaza and into Egypt. And second, we're very focused on making sure that the broader civilian population of Gaza, because the vast majority of Palestinians in Gaza have nothing to do with Hamas, that they can get to safe areas, that they can get access to food, water, medicine, shelter.
Sullivan says water has been turned back on in southern Gaza. A Palestinian hospital director says his facility has been overrun. He expects generator power to run out by tomorrow. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is shuttling back and forth between Egypt and Israel. He's hoping Americans trapped in Gaza will be allowed to cross into Egypt. To the north in Lebanon, Israeli officials say Hezbollah fighters shot an anti-tank missile toward an Israeli army post while its troops returned fire. Al-Qassam says it launched 20 missiles into 2 Israeli settlements from South Lebanon. The BBC's Hugo Bachega.
Hezbollah said it had targeted this community with guided missiles, and they said this was in retaliation after the killings of 3 civilians here in Lebanon. I think this shows how volatile the situation is along the Lebanese-Israeli border amid fears that Lebanon could be dragged into this conflict.
Police have arrested the gunman they say opened fire at the Texas State Fair food court last night. This is Dallas Police Corporal Melinda Gutierrez.
The preliminary investigation determined that one man shot at another man. 3 people were shot. All have non-life-threatening injuries.
Madonna is off the sick list. Here's CBS's Matt Piper.
Madonna's new celebration tour kicked off in London. The Queen of Pop is celebrating 40 years in the music biz, and it comes after she was hospitalized in June after reportedly being found unresponsive. She hinted at her health troubles during the show.
It's so good to be back, London.
This is CBS News.
You need to hire? Indeed is with you every step of the way, helping you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have mostly cloudy skies and 54 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour. KMOX News continues to bring you a variety of local reactions to the conflict between Israel and Hamas.
On Saturday afternoon, a group of about a dozen held a news conference downtown asking peace-loving Americans to lobby the federal government to use its influence to safeguard the lives of innocent children and civilians in both Gaza and Israel. Wally Amusa is co-chair of the locally based Campaign for Human Dignity.
If your faith can justify an unjustifiable denial of food, water, and medicine, then you need to go back and check that faith again. It's not faith. That is cruelty on a massive level.
Amusa called for the blockade of supplies to Palestinians in Gaza to end immediately and for innocent civilians to be allowed to stay in their homeland. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
KMOX Republican political analyst John Hancock says the Middle East is becoming a powder keg for violence.
It has the potential to expand substantially beyond Israel and Hamas.
Democrat Michael Kelly says the Biden administration has done what it can do to try and stop the spread.
Restrictions to the rest of the world saying, hey, this is not something that you should be able to, you should get involved in. If you do, know that we're there to help keep you out of it.
The placement of aircraft carriers nearby is one method of that. A man walking to work this morning was held up at gunpoint, according to St. Louis police. It happened in the 4100 block of Maryland. The 58-year-old victim tells police he was approached from behind and ordered to empty his pockets. Suspect also grabbed the victim's cell phone, last seen heading west on Maryland on foot. Recent population trends are showing the St. Louis Metro could be losing its spot as the nation's 21st largest city. According to our partners at Fox 2, 3 cities on the rise include Orlando, Charlotte, and San Antonio. All 3 have gained around 100,000 new residents in recent years. And during the same period, St. Louis has lost about 20,000. Weather forecast this afternoon staying cloudy with a high of 58 degrees, showers and spots. Overnight lows dipping into the mid-40s. Tomorrow a bit warmer, 64, then 67 on Tuesday, 73 on Wednesday. Right now we have 53 in St. Peter's, 55 in Florissant, 54 downtown. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
And a key block by the left guard, Tom Ackerman. And right here, let's go downstairs to Monica.
Marv, if you remember that big run Robert Holcomb had on the first drive, one of the guys responsible on help busting him loose was Tom Ackerman.
Tom Ackerman up front, and this is a unit that has played very well. A good night for Eddie George. 21 carries, 74 yards. The left guard, Tom Ackerman, with the block that set him free. It's a first down.
Yes, indeed. It is time for NFL picks against the spread. Tom Ackerman with you, and we have had some success in this segment, as it turns out. In week 3 is when we decided to start doing it. We didn't do it in week 1 or 2, but we did it in week 3 and went 10-5. Week 4 wasn't as good, not terrible. 6-7-1, though, is not a winning record, is a touch under 500. 6-7-1 was our record in week 4. Last week, we made another comeback. We were 8-4. Against the spread. This is picking NFL games, which I will do here in the next few minutes. So if you have a pencil, jot these down if you're interested in that kind of thing. I would say it's a pretty good record, Drew. 24-16-1. That's winning more often than not. So we'll take a look at these right now. Now, we don't pick Thursday games, obviously. We don't pick the early games like the one in London that's going on right now. The Ravens leading the Titans with under 10 minutes to go. 21-13. Lamar Jackson doing his thing for the Baltimore Ravens, and the Titans without Tannehill, who got hurt. So we'll see if they can pull one out here. It's 21-13, still a one-possession game. These are the Sunday games, though, that we are going to pick. We do Sundays, Sunday night, and Monday night. Are we ready? Let's take a look at the noon games first. We did not have a game from the Chiefs today. They already played on Thursday and won. Wasn't a thrilling, scintillating victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. 19-8 over Denver. Did what they had to do to win the game. As Joel Bushbaum used to tell us, that's a real throwback. Drew, that's going way back on this Sunday. I used to do a Sunday night show with Joel Bushbaum. He said, you do what you have to do to win the damn game. That was Joel. Here are the games at noon today. Washington at Atlanta. The Commanders at the Falcons. Falcons 1.5-point favorites. Love Bijan Robinson, the running back for Atlanta. He is shifty. He is also on both of my fantasy teams, so I keep a very close eye on him. I love the fact that he's getting the ball more. That helps me out. He is really, really good. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run the football. The Commanders have won back-to-back games against the Falcons in this series. I do not think that's going to happen today. I don't love the Falcons' passing game, but it was much better last week. Desmond Ridder is starting to throw the ball a little bit better, and with that run game now, it opens up the passing game. We've been saying this since the beginning of the forward pass, is that if you run the ball effectively, you can open up things in the passing game, and that's what the Falcons have discovered. They are playing at home against the 2-3 Commanders, and I like the Falcons to go 4-2 and to cover the 1.5-point spread. Falcons minus 1.5. What else do we have today? Minnesota at Chicago. Ugh. Ugly. The Bears haven't. Well, the Bears, to their credit, did win a recent game, and that's nice and all. Minnesota at Chicago, a couple of 1-4 teams. I think the Vikings as a 3-point favorite today is a bit ambitious. They did win at Washington. The Bears did 40-20. I think that this is trouble for the Vikings. They don't have Justin Jefferson. I think it has exposed them offensively. He's out with a hamstring injury, and as much as I think the Vikings are desperate and kind of have to win this game, I think the Bears are going to ugly it up, and I think they're going to give their fans a little treat and find a way to win this thing. And I like them covering the 3. Even if they were to lose it by 2, they would still cover, even if they lost it. So I'm going to go Bears +3 here. I'm surprised that I just did that, but I'm doing it. Bears +3. Seattle at Cincinnati. I have been impressed with the Seahawks. They have been better than I thought they would be. Joe Burrow is dealing with a bit of a calf injury, but he looks much better as the Bengals beat Arizona. I think that the Seahawks are going to get some players back, but I'm going to go Cincinnati here, 3-point favorite at home. I'm going to let them go 3-3 here and cover the 3-point spread. Cincinnati -3 in that noon game. The 49ers at Cleveland. Oof. Deshaun Watson is out for this game. The Browns are going to be up against the best team in football, the 49ers. I've said it every week, Drew. Every single week. The 49ers are the best team in the NFL. They are 9.5-point favorites. That is bad news. That's a bad spread to take the Browns. Real bad. I'm going to go 49ers -9.5. They're going to win that game by 10 or more, aren't they? Come on. I'd be surprised if not. 49ers -9.5. Carolina at Miami. Carolina's 0-5. Dolphins are really good. They're 4-1. They're 14-point favorites. That is a huge, huge spread. But the Dolphins are hitting on all strides right now. The Panthers got blown out by Detroit. They have no offense to speak of. I like the Dolphins big in this thing, even 14. I'm going to go Dolphins -14. I think they can cover that today. If it was any more than 14, I would hesitate, but I like 14. If you end up with a push, I'm sorry. What else do we have at noon? How about Indianapolis at Jacksonville? The Colts. I've been riding the Colts all year. I'm going to go Colts again, just because. Colts +4 at Jacksonville. New Orleans, and I know the Colts are dealing with injuries and the quarterback's been hurt. I don't know. There's something about them that I dig. So I'm going to go with it, even though Jacksonville has played some good ball. They come back from London, and I think it'll be a close game. I like the Colts +4 on that one. New Orleans at Houston. This game is the Saints -2. I'm going to go Saints there on the road, -2, giving the Texans 2 points on the road. Patriots have been absolutely horrendous. They play at the Raiders today. Vegas 2.5-point favorites. Oh, that's a little spread there. Vegas -2.5. I think New England's going to keep this game close, but that's not enough to give the Patriots. I think New England's been facing some good defenses here recently. Raiders aren't that great of a defense, but I'm going to go Raiders at home -2.5. I can't pick the Patriots here. They've been just brutal. Detroit at Tampa Bay. Buccaneers coming off the bye. Detroit's a really good team, though. They are -3. I think that I will stay with them. I'm going to go Lions -3 on the road. Arizona at the Rams. Rams are a 7-point favorite. They've been playing, they're 2-3. The Cardinals actually kind of have their number there. They've won, surprisingly, the last 2 visits to SoFi Stadium, although, again, SoFi Stadium is anything but a home field advantage for the Rams. Cooper Kupp was back from a hamstring injury, but the Eagles knocked him off anyway. I think I'll take the points there. I'll go Arizona +7 at the Rams. Philadelphia at the Jets. This should be no contest. I cannot understand why it's only 6.5 points. I think Eagles are just going to drop the hammer on them. This Eagles seems awesome. Eagles -6.5 at the Jets. Giants at Buffalo. Bills are a huge favorite in this one. Goodness gracious. 15.5-point favorite at home against the Giants. Wow. You know what, Drew? I kind of gonna take the Giants +15.5.
Saquon might be back.
Well, and Brian Dable's from Buffalo. I mean, I know that that's just a little side story, but show some pride if you're the New York Giants. I'm gonna go Giants +15.5, and then that's the Sunday night game, and then Cowboys at Chargers on Monday night. Dallas is a 1.5-point favorite in this one. This should be a really fun game, back and forth, exciting. I do like this Chargers team, though. You got to be careful now. Dallas has a really good defense, and I find it hard to believe that Dallas, as good as they've been, would be 3-3. But Dallas is a 1.5-point favorite at the Chargers. I'll take the points. Chargers plus 1.5. There you have it. Lutz Fan and Steel is next.
Discover the extraordinary power of stories at the St. Louis Storytelling Festival. This free event takes place from the 18th to 28th at St. Louis County Library and other venues throughout the St. Louis region. The festival features a diverse lineup of nationally renowned storytellers, as well as free programs for all ages. Join us for writing workshops, dance performances, puppetry, songwriting, tutorials, ghost stories, folklore, and more. Visit slcl.org/storytelling for details.
Now, Y98 presents 90 and 60, a look back at the St. Louis City match against the Vancouver Whitecaps. Presented by Ponce Health Sciences University, creating new pathways and careers in healthcare.
Whitecaps have attracted the ball deep on the city's side. Cole tries to cross the ball inside the box. No shot. It's just wide on the ground. Oh, Jackson tries to recover it. Instead, it's Marcanic who wins the ball away from Shop. Bounces it top 18. ACL is shot, and it's tipped up and over the bar. Back post header. Oh, Ben Luch. Incredible diving save, and it's cleared over the sideline by Marcanic. Oh, baby. And that will ultimately do it. Vancouver Whitecaps 3, St. Louis City SC nothing.
This has been 90 and 60. Presented by Petland. Up next, St. Louis City returns to City Park to face Seattle October 21st. Together Credit Union pregame at 7:30. Kick at 8 on your home for St. Louis City Soccer. Y98.
Aspiring to be a doctor? Didn't score well in the MCAT? Gain all the confidence you need to succeed at Ponce Health Sciences University. PHSU west of City Park on the corner of Jefferson and Market prepares students for every aspect of a medical career. A Master of Sciences in Medical Science degree. An MSMS from Ponce prepares students for the coursework, the time commitment, and the rigor for a future in healthcare. Learn more at stlouis.psm.edu. That's stlouis.psm.edu.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
We are very pleased to bring in live here at 11:18. Lutz Fan and Steel, thank you for always being with us on these Sundays. I want to say that up front, that I really appreciate this. You have been with us throughout the season. And Lutz, when you join us, you give great insight to this team. It is a very valuable time for us and for our listeners. So thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Always lots of fun, and thanks for having me.
It's great to talk to you. How have you been? What has this past week been like without the team playing in MLS competition?
Yeah, I think it was good. You know, we can focus a bit more again on the training. We had lots of double headers during the week, so you sometimes just really prepare from game to game. So that little match break gave us an opportunity to refocus, to look at certain things, to really also get ready for that last game and get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have your last game coming up on the 21st against Seattle, and then the playoffs. We don't know when that will be, right, Lutz? So we have an idea that it is going to be end of October, early November, but we don't have a date yet. I will tell you the tickets are selling like like hotcakes.
We also don't have an opponent yet. You know, it's very, very tough in that area, playing out at 8 and 9. So there's like 4 teams who really fighting for it. And then just actually on midweek before the first playoff day, there will be this 8th versus 9th wildcard game, so which would be then obviously the winner, our first opponent. So it's really open till just 3 or 4 days before kickoff.
I know. I get the question a lot. Like, when is the date? Do we know? We just don't know, but you can plan for the 21st against Seattle and then be ready for what could be a lot of fun moving forward. But this is different this time of year for sure. The playoffs are different. Teams are that much better, that much more equipped, that much more experienced and ready to go. I was asked this, Lutz, before we went on the air this morning on a different show, Total Information AM, and the host of the show, Scott Jagow, asked me, how do you approach the playoffs at your city? If you're a city, I said, you don't change. You don't change the way that you play, because I think the way that City has played has been a distinct advantage and has worn some teams out. I love their style. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would even make it simpler. We can't change the thing we do, because that's what we do. It's our way of play. We don't want to create a new tactical approach, or how do we play in the playoffs. We play the city style, as simple as that. I think what is a great thing for the playoffs is that we have a home advantage. That's what really was that important to finish in the top four, because we created, I think a fortress here in St. Louis, and people don't like to play us here. They don't like to play us away as well, but definitely not so much in St. Louis. And I think that's just the way we will approach every other game. I think you will not see a much different approach when we're playing against Seattle this coming weekend, or in the first playoff game. Home games are there to fight, to grind, and to win, and that's what we're trying to do.
And then, of course, and this will also be a question for Bradley Carnell, the coach of City, but how do you keep that edge, knowing that this game doesn't mean anything to you in the standings coming up against Seattle, but certainly it means a lot to see how you play moving forward?
Yeah, I think it means actually a lot to us. Looking at the standings, you could get the impression they already finished first, so they don't take it that serious. But that's definitely not the case. Number one, we still have one record to break, which is having the most points ever an expansion team make. With a win, we would do get that. With a draw, we would equalize the record. But then I think much more important is that. I think it's our responsibility to, when we're playing at home, to actually treat our fans. Our fans were there for us the whole year, unconditional. They support us in any moment, and I think that's a game where we can really go out there and do it again for the people in City Park and give our best performance possible.
When you look at this team and the ability to do what it can do, how far back, Lutz, did you start putting together this group? I mean, when you look back to 2020, take us back to that time when you got the job. What was the first order of business, and how did you set about creating this foundation that we see starting to flourish today?
I mean, the first part was to really be on the same page with the ownership from day one, to stick to the playing style, to the DNA, to the philosophy we have. I mean, that was the most important, and I think that's the biggest milestone we had. And then I think the first part was more or less to get deep dig into the football history, to do a lot about when it comes to academy and to youth football. But when it comes to the first team, I pretty much had a list of players very early on. I would say late 2020, which I thought could be available for our important transfer windows. I started to be in touch with a few agents and players which came in the end of the day over here. I think the next milestone was, of course, to get the head coach installed, which Bradley was here 1 year before. That was a very important part, to not get a head coach in too short of a time to prepare. For Bradley, St. Louis was already, when we kicked off, that's the place where he stayed, lived for a year. That's where his kids went to school. That's where his wife is here and has a friend. So that's a very, very important part, that the coaching stuff doesn't feel like it's something new for them. So that was an important part. And then I go back to that MLS Next Pro, having that opportunity to I would say, learning by doing, playing the Western Conference in the reserve level, but then also having the opportunity to bring our spine 6 months over here before. So obviously these negotiations have been going on, I would say a year from the start, or even a bit more, but once we signed them 6 months prior to the start. And I think that, you have to be very, very honest and very clear about that. Having the coach here that early, having the players here 6 months earlier, it gave us a certain opportunity to grow together, to gel, to be already a team once we started training in January with the first team. there was already like 12, 13 players plus the coaching staff who knew each other since half a year. That's not the usual expansion team. We were, I think, we made good use out of the opportunity to use the next pro as a kind of, I would say, a test run, a test pilot for a pilot project. So how are we going to approach the first ever MLS season?
It is really remarkable how this academy has made its way through the area as well. You have U15s, U17s, and a number of different players competing and performing locally. Can you tell us how that academy looks? It continues to play right now.
Yeah, I think that's something, where we were very clear from the start that football here is so big and there is so many talents here that we want to really push for a top academy program. So now it's called MLS Next, which is basically having the U15. We are playing with the U15s, the U16s, and the U17s. That's the highest level you can play in the United States. And what for me was the most fascinating thing, we basically now in season 3, in season 1 and season 2, we made it to the playoffs, into the national playoffs, finished 3rd, finished 4th. So to do that with a brand new team is unheard of. Unfortunately, when it comes to the media, when it comes to the public, it somehow disappears a little bit because everybody focuses on the big boys and focuses on the glamour of the MLS. But for me personal, and also for Bradley and the coaching staff, our academy, that's our future, and we do have a lot of love, I would say, for that, and we put a lot of time and a lot of passion into it because I always say the MLS players, the professionals right now, that's the moment, that's right now. But if you're going down in the age groups, that's the future, and there will be a big group of players which playing now still a smaller club or going into a high school or don't even play in a bigger club yet, which will be sooner or later, there will be in the city setup and probably also represent the first team in City Park. I think that's what is our job as a club. We want to be strong in the community. We want to give our own kids a big opportunity. And look at Miggy Perez, look at Karen Glover. There is so many more out there. And having in the first year already 2 youngsters, homegrown youngsters, having the debut played in the MLS, I mean, that gives younger football players, a dream to work hard for, and we will support them with everything we can as a club.
It's well said, and there's so much that's going on with this organization right now, and that is a great example of it out in the community and in discussion with so many different people. When they talk about this team, it has many, many different layers, and that's well laid out for us. We appreciate it. Can't wait to catch up with you again. I always love these talks. Great to spend some time with you. Good luck Saturday against Seattle.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you. Lutz Pfannenstiel, Sporting Director, St. Louis City SC. John Mozeliak, Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, is next.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
My best friend Jimmy came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey, but my furnace broke and it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly cause they're open till 8, jerrykelly.com. They'll be here quick and have you feeling good, jerrykelly.com. Cause your furnace will be running like it should. They're certified technicians, I've been told, will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Have you been wanting to find the secret to losing weight and getting healthy the natural way without drugs or injections? Hey everyone, it's Dr. Michael Glickert with St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I know the secret to losing a half a pound to a pound of fat every day naturally, safely, and effectively, without counting points or calories, no prepackaged meals, no hormones, no drugs, no injections or surgery. Schedule a free consultation now at moweightloss.com.
Hey, this is Debbie Monterey, and I just would like to reiterate what Dr. Glickert said, that you can lose a half a pound to a pound per day with St. Louis Weight Loss Secret. And I can say that with confidence because that's what happened for me. Getting on the scale every morning, losing a half a pound to a pound was extremely motivating to stay on my plan. I lost 20 pounds in the first month. I've lost over 40 pounds altogether year using St. Louis Weight Loss Secret. It really is not that hard when you follow their plan. Find out more by going to moweightloss.com. moweightloss.com.
Every day, there are thousands of people across our region who need help. United Way is here to help. Help feed and shelter our neighbors. Help teach, counsel, and keep children safe. Help families overcome crisis, find work, and stay healthy. Unite with us at helpingpeople.org. Manchester Coin and Jewelry is the estate buyers. From fine jewelry to costume jewelry, watches, working or not, on Manchester Road west of 141. It's Manchester Coin and Jewelry, the estate buyers.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It is 11:30. Great to be joined by Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. We just had Lutz Pfannenstiel, Sporting Director, with us. We have Tom Stillman, the Chairman of the Blues, following Mo. Mo, great to be with you this morning. It's like the executive hour on KMOX, representing the three big pro teams here downtown.
Well, it certainly feels like Groundhog Day for me with this show, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, you have been. I do want to thank you for all of this, Mo. I mean, you have been great to us, and you have given us a great insight as to what goes on in the organization. We appreciate it very much, and I know that you have been dedicated in making yourself available, so we appreciate that.
Well, that's sweet, but let's talk baseball.
Let's talk some ball. Let's talk some ball. What do you see when you're watching the playoffs? Is there I will say for me, the sting is not what it was last year when the Cardinals were ousted in 2 games. It was hard to watch the postseason because you wondered what might have been. I think because we have been able to digest what's happened over the last couple of months doesn't make it any easier. But there is a task at hand, it appears, to get better for 24. That motivation has been in play for a while.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Going back to the trading deadline, right? Adding as much talent as we could. We knew where we were at the time. If we had just kept it status quo and played out, yeah, we probably would have won a few more games. But in the end, we really weren't positioning ourselves for the future. And I think we're certainly excited about some of those additions that we got. Obviously, Monty is going to pitch tonight for the Texas Rangers, but we're certainly happy with our return we got with Roby and Sagisi for that deal. And so, as I always tell people, like trades should never be viewed on the day they're made. They should be look in the rearview mirror and see how they play out over time. And so, we do feel better about what we were able to add in terms of some arms. It certainly added a lot of depth in our minor league system. And, as we look to really prepare for 2024, how can we augment what we already have to get back to our winning ways? And, that's the challenge at hand.
That seems to be a challenge. I mean, I said earlier in the show, when I look at what the Cardinals need to do here and add pitching, this is not you don't just add 3 pitchers. You can't just snap your fingers and do it. There is going to be, I see 2 things here. One, there is a risk in signing pitchers to a long-term contract. There's also competition to do so. That makes it a double challenge. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, I don't think you could argue with that way of positioning it. I do think, like, when you're in the open market, I think free agents tend to look at a couple things. One is, do they feel like they're in a competitive environment? Like, not every player wants one, but many players do. In other words, they want to win. They also want to be in a city that they feel comfortable with. And, St. Louis has always been a pretty desirable baseball city to come and play in. So I think that bodes well. And there's also opportunity. Which always becomes a real thing. Like, obviously the top tier free agents know they're going to be signed. They know they're going to be given the ball every 5th day, or if they're a position player, hit number 3 in the order or something like that. But there are players that are really just looking for a chance. And I think, given the way we finished this year, understanding that we want to get ourselves back, I do think when we start looking at depth pieces and things like that could make us better, I think we are going to have some opportunity in there to be out there trying to improve. So I really feel like if you look at it in those sort of three aspects and knowing that the strong history of winning here, I think we have a chance to do okay in this market.
I looked at that ceremony that you were a part of with Adam Wainwright, and Albert Pujols is there, and Yadier Molina is there, and Adam Wainwright is there. It really is the end of that run. It's not the end of an era necessarily, but it is the end of, your links to Cardinals World Championships are gone. I guess one of the things is, how do you reestablish that swagger, that feeling again? That is also part of it.
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, obviously, history will tell us everything. But when you look back, I mean, obviously, that was a very special time and one that's pretty unique when you're able to sign somebody like an Albert Pujols and back in '99, and the following year get Yadier Molina, and then trade for Adam Wainwright in '03 for the '04 season. But these are St. Louis Cardinals baseball royalty. And, that's why we find ourselves sometimes in the trade market to go get a Paul Goldschmidt, a Matt Holliday, a Nolan Arenado, because, we understand that the expectations here are real. And so, obviously we'd like to draft well. We'd like to do well in the international market when we're signing young free agents down there. But the reality is like, you're not always going to get lucky or produce the type of players like that. And that's why we've added some of those types of players over the years. And as we really look at 2024, we've been very clear. We know we have to improve our pitching. We know we have to be more consistent. We know we have to be able to eat innings. When you think about times when things aren't going well and it's not always sort of the chicken and the egg argument, but the fact is when your starting pitching doesn't go deep, you're down early in games, you immediately have two things happen. One is you put an enormous amount of pressure on your offense just to try to catch up. And number two, you end up putting a lot of strain on your bullpen because they get overused. And over 162, that's a lot of work or a lot of demands. And so, I think for us, it's just understanding, like, if we can get that consistency in our rotation, a lot of things will improve from that.
I completely understand that and hear that. Did you look at the bullpen in that you felt like, do you feel like you need a strong overhaul of what you have, or do you like, and you need to add a piece or two? Is it, when you say pitching, how much does the bullpen weigh in?
Oh, it's in there. I definitely think when everybody is right, i.e. Helsley, Gio, Romero, that's a pretty good back of end. I think somebody like a Livator might end up emerging as being one of those types of elite arms out of the bullpen. Obviously, King was very consistent, but the one thing when you do this job is 162 over 187. That means you play 162 games over 187 day season. It's demanding. It's not every sport has that. And so making sure that we have enough bench or depth or breadth to get through that is something that we just want to be cognizant of. And I know at the trading deadline you can pick up help and that's great, but we got to be able to exit spring training knowing we have confidence both in our rotation and our bullpen.
I know you had one departure on your staff that I'm aware of, Nicolais, and your assistant hitting coach. I've learned long ago not to assume anything, but I will assume, since we've now been removed from the end of the season 2 weeks, that if it hasn't been announced now, that there don't seem to be that many subtractions from the staff. But you would want to
working through that right now. Like we spent a little time last week on it. Definitely talking through some things and if there are going to be some possible role changes and stuff like that, not just at the big league level, but also some things at the minor league level. So all the department heads are weighing in on really where they envision things moving forward. And so I would say over the next week and a half, we'll try to nail all that down. Obviously, I'd love all personnel issues from a staffing standpoint addressed and dealt with. So by the time we get to, early November, we can hit the ground running and start worrying about the roster.
I'm very sorry to hear about what happened in the Dominican Republic at your academy. Can you tell us the latest that you know?
Well, all I know is there was a group of armed men that ended up at gunpoint tying up our security guard and our manager. And then basically the group went room to room and stole items, mostly cash, a few other things like cell phones and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's scary. And obviously Major League Baseball is aware of what's going on. There were 2 other academies that were broken into this previous week and prior to that. So I think we're just going to have to really look at what our security strategies are and make sure we ramp up for the future. But very scary. Obviously, I think everybody involved decided that it was probably best just to go home, catch their breath, and we'll probably reopen that academy here in a couple months when we start prepping for 2024.
Appreciate the update. And again, our best to everyone there. And thanks to you for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll catch up with you real soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. John Mozeliak, Cardinals President of Baseball Operations. Tom Stillman is next on KMOX.
Beneath their gorgeous exterior, 1-800-GOT-JUNK trucks were designed to be ready for anything.
How about construction site junk?
All you have to do is point.
Retail, grocery store, warehouse, office junk?
Point, 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 point.
How about the monumental junk left after a fire or a flood or a hurricane?
This time, you'll need to do it with your other hand.
Why?
Because the first hand will be tired from all of that other pointing.
I see your point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300 and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsacehardware.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. It's always great to work with Spring Green, no matter the season. And this fall, aerating and overseeding your lawn is the best time to thicken up the yard. Take care of some of those trouble spots by reaching out to Spring Green, spring-green.com. Top dressing your lawn with compost is the single best thing you can do to your lawn every year. Shrub pruning, cutting back your perennials from the fall, installing a retaining wall can help with curb appeal as well. Spring-green.com.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Nobody wants a surprise in their jelly donut. It's toothpaste? That's because the middle is the most important part. At Graybar, we're at the middle of electrical and datacom jobs across the country, connecting installers, facility managers, and business owners with smart solutions for their most challenging projects, which means stocking and delivering crucial products on time and on budget with no surprises, thanks to our nationwide logistics network. Yep, Graybar does that.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
St. Louis, thank you for choosing Underlaw as STL Today's 2023 best law firm. Although our work has always been about you, we are proud yet humbled to be acknowledged by the community we serve and love. At Underlaw, we will continue our mission to make a difference, one case at a time.
When you're injured, you need the best. Call Underlaw at 314 or 618-9000000.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, so why don't we do something about it? With Neoviten Men's 50 Plus, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Formulated for men over 50, Neoviten Men's 50 Plus gives you B vitamins to support energy and our proprietary physician-formulated blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Do something about your health today with Neoviten Men's 50 Plus. Available at your local Schnucks and Dierbergs.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win. Billikens win.
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Had a chance to talk to Blues chairman Tom Stillman this morning. One of the first things we talked about, Jordan Binnington.
He's been great. He's really dialed in. Really focused, and really that's not unusual. That's his normal setting. I think nationally, there are a lot of commentators who are maybe looking at stats and not seeing his actual play last year. That I think they're a little more down on him than they should be. He's an excellent goalie. He got hung out to dry at times last year, and I think he's going to be excellent this year.
I would agree with you, and I think that on defense, at times you do need to look and see, how they're performing in front of him. Do you see an improvement there in terms of? You could just go on and say last year the Blues are sitting there looking at Perunovic and Scandella not being available. Now they are available, but you have the depth to be able to scratch them.
Yeah, and I think that group has something to prove. They're all, really good players and character men, and they're not happy with last year, and you can feel that in the practices of training camp and in their play. I think they've been really strong. They tweaked the system a little bit. I think we're going to see good things from them.
And, of course, the focus will remain on, and for good reason, Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. They are inked to long-term contracts. Where do you see that duo in this stage of their career right now?
I think they are, they're ready to kind of take the next step and be, the first line over the boards. Robert Thomas, a true first-line center. Kyrou and Thomas counted on to do a lot of scoring along with Bucci. So, that's a true first line, and I think they'll step up and fill that role.
And as we're speaking right now, we're still awaiting official word on Pavel Buchnevic's injury, an upper body injury suffered last night. So we'll hope the best for him as things move forward. Tom Stillman is with us. This philosophy right now, it's hard to put into words where you are. It doesn't feel like a rebuild. It also doesn't feel like a team that's considered to be a Stanley Cup favorite. Do you feel like you're somewhere in the middle? How did you approach pleasing your fans, but at the same time growing for the future?
It is a mix of objectives like that, and it's probably not worth trying to apply a single term to it. Retool, re this, re that. What we're doing is trying to remain competitive, put a competitive team on the ice, while at the same time building for the future. And I think Doug has assembled a competitive group that was going to fight. We're hoping, we think, our goal is to make the playoffs. And at the same time, we are holding on to a lot of top draft choices. We've never had so many, first round draft choices in our system. I mean, our prospect camp is a totally different affair these days. So I think we're trying to do both things, trying to get better in the future while remaining competitive in the present.
You have confidence in Doug Armstrong. You can hear it in your voice. And Army, it's really something when you look at this. You know how this league is. I mean, change happens often. He is the longest tenured GM in the NHL and obviously in Blues history.
Yeah, and I think there's every good reason for that. He's done a tremendous job. And a big part of it is kind of what I've just described, but extending over 10, 12 years. I mean, we haven't had, a really high draft choice for a long time, since Alex Petrangelo was chosen fourth in whatever year that was. And when you're competitive for a long time like that, you don't get the top draft choices. And yet Doug has kept us very competitive, one of the best records in the league over his tenure. So he's shown the ability to do that while also obviously at the same time building a cup winner.
Doug Armstrong is a no-nonsense, direct individual. He whether he's speaking to the media or I'm assuming behind closed doors, and I think your coach is the same way. I mean, Craig Berube, who also is one of the longest tenured coaches in the league, keeps things simple. And is that the key moving forward? And what is your confidence level in Chief?
Confidence in Chief is very high, and I think that is part of it. He's direct. He doesn't play mind games. He doesn't mince words, while he's also not disrespectful players. This is what we expect. This is what we're going to do. And that kind of clear communication is important. I think when you say those two are very direct, and that kind of communication suits me as well. So I mean, that is a common trait, I guess, for Doug and me.
Tom Stillman with us on KMOX. Always great to have him. The Blues and the NHL, a product that has sustained and has gained some popularity. When you take a step back and look at the league with all of this competition today, all over media and certainly for people's eyeballs and ears, where do you see the NHL? I mean, is it holding up? Is the product in a good place?
I think the NHL is very healthy. There's one issue out there, and I'll come back to that. But projecting record revenues again this year, the franchises, almost all of them individually, are very strong. Sponsorships, everything are, still growing tremendously. I think the game is the best it's ever been, with its speed and skill. And I think the game is well suited to younger people that want more constant action, something that's moving all the time. I think we're in a really good place. The asterisk, as you know, is the Bally's Diamond Sports Group situation. On a league-wide basis, that revenue is just a small percentage of league-wide revenues. But it is important to those teams involved. So we're hoping that that comes to a favorable resolution.
Was it beneficial to have ESPN get back and put its hands on the league again? I mean, having a triple header to start the season certainly got a lot of attention on SportsCenter, et cetera.
Yeah, I think it's very helpful to be back on ESPN, both for the games, and it gives them a lot more reason to talk about hockey, on their other shows. Also, TSN has done a heck of a job. They've been excellent as well. So I think those U.S. rights deals have been a real positive.
Staying locally, is there still optimism that you can land the World Juniors here in St. Louis?
We're kind of in the silent period right now, so we're not sure. We sure hope so. We think, hockey has taken off here, and that should be recognized. And, St. Louis shows up for events, but, we'll have to see.
How do you feel about Centene Community Ice Center currently? It did get out into the news that they had defaulted on a bond payment. Does Centene Community Ice Center and the Legacy Ice Foundation have the backing of the team in that way?
Well, it's a complex structure out there. We are actually a tenant. Mm-hmm. So, and Maryland Heights owns the facility and is responsible on those bonds. It's kind of unfortunate the way that would handled. It suggests that it's a more dire situation than it is, and I think it'll get worked out. And it's not going to close down. I mean, if I don't know how much time you've spent there, but it is just buzzing with activity at all times in youth hockey, and it's managed to attract some big events, and there are other ones scheduled in the future. So it's going to work out.
It does have a lot of buzz, that's for sure. Big hockey events, music venue right outside.
Yeah.
I mean, it is rolling for sure. A final thing for you, Tom, just the Blues also have a big responsibility in bringing entertainment to downtown St. Louis. And I just thought, in an overall picture, how you view downtown continuing on as a great district for sports and business, and the things that you evaluate there. You have City just to your west that has built a magnificent complex. You have Enterprise Center, which again was rocking last night. You have Busch Stadium down the street. You have the Dome, which has brought indoor football. St. Louis University, obviously, a racetrack across the river. Where do you see St. Louis right now as a sports town? How can we promote it better? How can we be better?
Well, it is unusual, really around the country, for a city to have kept all of its sports venues right downtown. And that is something that is unique, and it's important to St. Louis. I think we're seeing improvement in the policing and the security, but we've got to get to a point where people feel comfortable coming in early, going to bars and restaurants, and then after games going out and doing something else. And we're trying to do everything we can do. The Cardinals, our city is, to make sure that happens. But I think we need to see more of a security presence, a greater police presence. I think the city of St. Louis has to prioritize that, and I think there's progress being made there.
Tom Stillman has been chairman and governor of the St. Louis Blues for over a decade now, and it's great to catch up with you again. I've always appreciated your openness and kindness, Tom, to us and to Blues fans in general. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it, Tom. You've been great. You set the standard here. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Have a great day. There he is, the chairman of the Blues, Tom Stillman. We thank you for joining us. Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. For our producer, Drew Young, I'm Tom Ackerman. We say so long from downtown St. Louis.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews for Reinhold Electric, and big news for this group. They have been working hard for decades for St. Louis. They have been named Electrician of the Year 2 years running now by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. So if you want a top-notch electrician